German Chancellor Friedrich Merz stated on Wednesday that Ukraine's accession to the European Union on January 1, 2027 is impossible. As reported by the German publication dpa, Merz said this after negotiations with his coalition partners in Berlin. There can be no talk of accession on January 1, 2027. That is impossible, he said. The German Chancellor noted that any country wishing to join the EU must first meet the criteria, and this process usually takes several years. However, he emphasized that Ukraine needs a perspective that will pave the way for accession in the long term. We can gradually bring Ukraine closer to the European Union. That is always possible, but such a rapid accession is simply unrealistic, Merz said. Regarding the end of the war with Russia, the Chancellor noted that there are currently other priorities. We are in close contact with the delegations of the US and Ukraine. We have also jointly prepared a document, and it is good that direct negotiations between Ukraine and Russia are now taking place. We are supporting these negotiations with great backing and with great hope that they will conclude as soon as possible. According to the detailed reports from the publication, it is noted that Merz's comments came shortly after his esteemed colleague within the political party and Foreign Minister Johan Wiedewol formally and publicly stated that Ukraine rightfully deserves a fair and equitable opportunity to join the European Union. To build a strong architecture of peace in Europe, it is necessary for Ukraine to have a fair chance to join the European Union, Wiedewol stated. He did not comment on a possible date for such accession, but made it clear that, as with the candidates from the Western Balkans, there can be no shortcuts for Kyiv, one of the fundamental and essential security guarantees that we can provide Ukraine during this critical period in history, and in my personal opinion, absolutely must strive to provide, is a tangible and highly realistic prospect of joining the European Union. According to the minister, such a step may seem distant at present, but ensuring Ukraine's victory in the fight against Russia remains in the interests of Germany and Europeans, he stated. Recently, the president of the European Commission also stated that the EU and the US are close to reaching an agreement on a prosperity plan for Ukraine, which is based on 5 pillars: productivity, Ukraine's integration into the EU market, investment, donors, and reforms. At the same time, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán stated that at an informal EU summit, leaders were presented with a confidential European Commission document that envisions Ukraine's membership in the European Union by 2027. Later, Ukraine's Deputy Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha responded to the Hungarian Prime Minister's promise not to let Ukraine into the EU for 100 years, saying that he is exaggerating his own influence over this process. Sybiha commented on the Hungarian Prime Minister's statements about a secret plan by the European Commission to support Ukraine and its EU membership, as well as his words that Hungary would not have a parliament in the next 100 years that would vote for Ukraine's accession to the EU. This plan is doomed to fail, Mr. Minister. Your master in Moscow won't last 100 years, even if you were ready to donate all your organs for his transplants. And on the day Ukraine joins the EU, we will hang this headline in a frame in the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, so we can remember your lies for the next 100 years, Andriy Sybiha replied. As is known, earlier Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko explained how Ukraine would use the $800 billion from the economic peace agreement. The government reported that this amount would include both grants and loan funds. At the same time, the agreement on $800 billion for Ukraine has been approved by the EU and does not contradict the conditions for accession. This was stated by the government. Do you believe that Ukraine will join the EU in the near future? Share your thoughts in the comments and we'll read them. That's all for now. Leave a comment, give us a like, and see you next time.